Emin, welcome to our show Profiles.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure to be here.
Of course, for our viewers, you are a singer and coming to the States, originally from Russia. And in that country, you are known as, correct me if I'm wrong, the Michael Bublé of Russia.
Well, I guess because I started I was a crooner, 7, 8 years ago when I started my musical career. And it was the love of Elvis and his songs and Tom Jones and Engelbert. And
Yes.
I guess that's how I got the name.
Now, for our viewers, as you are a singer, as you say, a crooner, and a household name in Europe and in the UK, currently taking the US by storm. I just heard some promos for your new album on the radio last night. And your American debut single, Baby Get Higher, is climbing the charts.
I got lucky. I've been in the top 20 Billboard new singles charts for 6 weeks now. So that's, I guess, a tremendous breakthrough for me and for my team. And we hope to achieve a lot more, but that's a good start. We're breaking the ice. We've done that in Europe, we've done it in Britain, and it's time to get some wind our way in the United States.
Yeah, as a debut single, were you surprised at its success right out of the box?
I still am. I'm
You
still
still are.
surprised.
And most recently, you're celebrating the release of your first American CD, titled After the Thunder. What can you tell us about that CD?
Well, that's my album number 6 in my musical career. And as I mentioned before, I started as a crooner, but my last 2 albums were completely original, all new material, so I moved away from the crooning. And, as a singer-songwriter, I'd like to think that this is the best piece of music that I've done in my musical career, and this is my best album, and It's called After the Thunder. So.
Yeah. My question is, you've had 6 albums, as you've mentioned. Why did you wait so long before you entered the U.S. market?
Well, you tend to concentrate on the markets where you're most successful, and obviously back at home, I was somewhat doing well, and with 4 albums that I released previously. And then it was Britain, because my production came from Britain with Mr. Brian Rowling, an incredible producer. I worked with many songwriters that have worked with Enrique and Cher and big artists before. We've written some good songs and picked up some momentum in Britain, and that translated to some success in Europe. And I guess America was a bit too far for us. But now we're ready, and we think that this is the right album.
Yeah, are you happy that you waited this long?
I think so.
Before you, and your music, has it evolved since the beginning?
The music, I evolved as an artist, I think as a performer, my band, and it's a learning process for everyone, including me. And I think we're just in the perfect time. I'm ready.
You're ready.
I'm more mature.
Very good. Now, interestingly, you are the heir of a billion-dollar fortune. And you're also the son-in-law of the president of
Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan. With all of this going on in your life, what motivated you to pursue a career as a singer?
Well, what happened is I started singing about 15 years ago in New Jersey. I was still in high school here when I was living in America. And music came before anything else came to my life, before my father became a billionaire and before I got married to a daughter of Azerbaijan president. So it wasn't a choice I made after that happened. It was a dream that I pursued, and all the other things that happened to me in my life, happened simultaneously, I guess. And whether that would have been there or wouldn't, I would pursue my musical career no matter what.
Right. Now, in fact, your dad, and his name is?
Aris.
Is at the top of Forbes' rating of commercial real estate owners in Russia, and is frequently called the Donald Trump of Russia. Is he a fan of your music?
He's a critic of my music.
Yeah, really. How does he critique
As a
it?
father, he is a big critic. Well, part of my life is obviously family business, and I spent 11 years in his company in Moscow, and helping a little bit with what he's been doing there. But when it concerns music, he likes to criticize me as any father would.
Yeah.
And I guess he's the most honest critic, but I try to keep him away from my musical business.
Would he
And,
rather see you in the family business as opposed to pursuing a
I mean,
music career?
I'm there and there,
You're
so
both.
I'm both. But he's always had the great admiration for big singers. He's a big fan of Tom Jones, and
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's happy that I'm singing, and he's happy that I'm singing well, and that I've picked up some success.
He's supporting, supportive.
so.
Also, what I found interesting about your dad is that he doesn't come from money and was pretty much self-made. Is that accurate?
Very accurate, because he was born, obviously, and he grew up and studied during the Soviet era. You couldn't be rich or poor, everybody was the same.
Yeah.
And only 22, 23 years ago, Soviet Union has fallen apart.
Yeah.
And that's when he started his first business. And my childhood, when I was growing up, we weren't wealthy. And he lost his father when he was 14, so he didn't really have any help like I've had in my life.
Right.
So he is a self-made entrepreneur.
Sure. What's the biggest lesson you've learned from his success?
Well, I guess it's not even the lesson, but it's the form of lifestyle. I think anything and everything requires work and tremendous amount of it. You have to be dedicated, and only then you can hope for results. Sometimes you get a little bit lucky, and you get an extra push from behind, but to speed you up. But you can't count on it. So if you're not getting lucky, you need to work for it.
Sure. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that outside of music, that you're also an experienced entrepreneur and have a lot of success, especially in fashion. Is that true?
A little bit, yes. I've studied here in Manhattan.
Okay.
I studied business, management, economics, and obviously I got my degree to pursue my business career, which I have for even the school years. I was a power seller on eBay. I had a couple of websites here selling Russian stuff on the internet. So that was my first, a little bit of success here in the States, in the business world. Then when I moved back to Moscow, I joined my father's company, and we've done a lot of fashion-related projects, including the first ever store of Jennifer Lopez.
Well, that was pretty big.
Yeah, that was pretty big.
And where was that first store?
That was in Crocus City Mall in one of our developments, and she came for the opening. It was a big deal. And 10 years later, we ended up doing a concert together in Baku.
I'm going to talk about
which
that.
is,